Growing up, I never had the same longing to learn as my peers. Although the opportunity to learn, read, and write was present for everyone, it wasn't as easy for me to grasp. When I first entered school, my mom soon began to notice that I was struggling with grades due to numerous bad report cards and multiple checks I received for not paying attention. Reading was hard and almost non-existent for me. Due to the lack of concentration that would occur every time I would try to read, it wasn't until third grade that my teacher suggested to my mom during a parent-teacher conference to get me checked out at the doctor's, and that I may be diagnosed with ADHD. When I went to the doctor, I tested positive for ADHD. Upon finding this out, I was then put onto medication to control these symptoms, which made a huge difference within my schoolwork. I was then able to read and focus on things I never believed I could in the beginning. To me, this sparked a moment within my literacy, because I then took great interest in reading. My mom helped me along my journey of pretty much relearning to read and comprehend. I owe a lot to her, because she has influenced me throughout my whole life. My way of thinking reflects hers, and it can affect my literacy in both negative and positive ways. She is very straightforward and tells it how it is, and now I often do the same. With life in general, it has its perks. It's often been beneficial. Yet, when producing anything descriptive, it becomes an issue. And I often get marks that say, expand on this in my papers. When my mom was too busy to help me or at work, she'd send me to my aunt's house. With 3 crazy kids of her own, she had to control them, my brother, and I in some way. Most of the time, even though I hated it, we had a designated reading time to calm us down. She would give us books that were our age group's reading level, sort of forcing me to excel. She would also occasionally make us describe to her what we read and what it has as a meaning in our life. This helped me with my interpretation a lot, even though it was terrible to do as a child. As a little kid, my aunt definitely had a huge impact on my literacy. Still at a young age, my mom signed me up for soccer. I have made lifelong friends from traveling so much with the sport, but it somewhat hurt my literacy skills. It became a lifestyle of mine, and I began to pay less attention to my class work and caring more about excelling physically in the sport. I would rush through a lot of my work, papers included, to have more time for soccer. Eventually, I learned that I needed to spend more time on schoolwork. When I realized that my condition, I take much longer, even with the help of meds, to do any schoolwork. High school made schoolwork a bit easier to handle. By then, I had the hang of things, and most of my teachers knew me pretty well and helped me as much as they could. Book selections were surprisingly decent in most of my classes, and were interesting to me, especially most of them having dealt with war history. My English teacher senior year helped me excel in writing and grammar especially by a lot with the activities we had done in class. She also, in a subconscious way with the books we were assigned, guided me towards joining ROTC. ROTC has influenced me an extreme amount in the short amount of time that I've been a part of the organization. Even though I had to drop my Adderall medication because the Army does not allow the use of it, I attained good study habits from trying to deal with it in my past. The program raises its standards for fully participating cadets as well. As far as if we don't get a certain GPA, we have to do a certain amount of study tables until our GPA increases. This also goes along with our incentive program. If we get a high enough GPA, they'll give us incentives, helping us financially. These standards have actually had a great effect on my schoolwork here at OU, and they encourage me to try and sit down and concentrate regardless of where my mind wanders. Without the help of all of these people and this organization, I would not even be able to do this right now.